I wish I could show you that I am walking everywhere in my cute little walkable town, but I don't live in a walkable city. It's a very car-centric city. Things are spaced out quite a bit, and there's a lot of suburbia that you would have to walk through to get to the places that you need. And you can't really, like, you know, cut through people's yards to get where you need. You have to go all around. And anyway, I'll also say today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. I'm on my way to Trader Joe's to get ingredients to make some shepherdess pies. Shepherdess meaning they're not meat pies. It's like a shepherd's pie, but I use the impossible meat. I'm making them for 2 families, and I'm gonna have some salads, and I think I'm gonna buy like a banana bread. But anyway, there's a family at our church who just had a new baby. They've got a few babies. I don't know them very well, but there was a meal train set up for them. I volunteered to take a meal to them today, and the shepherd's pie tends to be like one of my go-tos for this sort of thing. Then my best friend texted me last night saying, "What were your symptoms when you had COVID?" We had COVID back in October, and before the vaccines. And it was awful. It was the first variant. And so my friend was texting me saying, "What were your symptoms?" And I said, "Are you asking for a friend?" She said, "No, for me." And I was like, oh no. She is vaccinated, but her kid is in school. You know, as many kids need to be back in school. But anyway, so long story short, they were supposed to test this morning. I haven't contacted her yet. She said she was feeling pretty awful. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm making a meal for this one family, I may as well just make 2 and then take one out to her, because she's got her hands full. And I thought, well, I can at least bring her a meal. Just pulled up to Trader Joe's, looking for a good parking spot. Then I need to go home and get cooking. And then I have to go to the Episcopal Church to go pick up my music for some stuff coming up. So I need to get moving. Bye. All right, off I go. Back home, and gonna make these shepherdess pies, eat a little lunch myself, and then wait for them to be done, and I'll get on the road and drive for the foreseeable future. So here I have, this would be impossible meat here, and I'm just gonna, if you would, any regular ground beef, and you can see the onions over in here with all the spices and herbs and my frozen veggies. So I'm just gonna chop all that up. I've got 2 of these round rounds, I guess squares, in the shape of a square. And you can already see them brown on the other side, just like regular meat. So I'm gonna give that a mix and a chop. And then here are the potatoes, which I need to get to mashing. Then next I'll make the slurry to put into this. Got the potatoes mashed. This is such a horrible angle. I got the potatoes mashed, and I made my slurry, which, look at this mess here. So the slurry was vegetable broth. I did low sodium vegetable broth, Worcestershire sauce, tomato paste, cornstarch. Make sure that's good and whisked so you don't get any clumps of cornstarch. And you put it into your mixture, like so, and let that cook over a medium heat for a minute to where it thickens up. Someone wants to say goodnight or nap. Love you. Can we kiss? Bye.
Come on, baby. Min Min.
Watch out.
Oh.
Oh. Oh no. Oh, sweetheart.
Baby.
Oh. It's really funny and sweet. So anyway, you want to cook this over a medium heat to where the sauce thickens just a little bit, because you're going to put it in the oven still. The oven step is just for things to congeal. I'm going to taste test this to make sure all the flavor is good, that it's got enough salt and pepper very hot. Let me turn this heat down a little bit. It's really good. Okay, I'll turn that heat off. There's the mashed potatoes. I added copious amounts of vegan butter because go big or go home. So this was Earth Balance. And then I added some soy milk to that too. And so I am going to compile them here in these little 8-inch pans. And I need to preheat my oven to 400 degrees. I think it's 400. So there they are in the oven with a bit of Spanish paprika on top. And I'll chop up some chives and put those on after they're done. And I was just thinking to myself, do I really need to bake these before I send them? Like, can I just tell them, hey, bake these at 400 for 20 minutes? That way I don't have to be dealing with like nuclear pans in transit. Anyway, they're in there. That's what's gonna be done. So now I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna eat this taco salad kit from Trader Joe's. 'Cause I'm starving, but I did have some potatoes. I haven't showed you the finished product and I'm already like loading up into the car, so I'm gonna undo it here. And there it is. It overflowed in the oven and got really smoky, but we're good. All the chives just come off here. Uh-oh. Anyway, so that's one. There are two of them. Okay, I'm gonna cover this back up. So I had a friend text me about a week and a half ago saying that she was, ooh, that's so bright. Saying that she was gonna be coming through Tulsa she's been traveling. And so she just texted me. I completely forgot. She's gonna stay the night in our office. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her because I haven't seen her since like right before COVID hit. And so much has happened in both of our worlds, like so much. So yeah, looking forward to seeing her. Happy Thursday, coming to you with my gym glow. I just left Coach Sprinkle's gym and I was the only one there. Very hot, very sweaty, but I feel good. I did the whole workout, which was, more jump lunges, and I did some jumping jacks and planks, and it feels good to try to get strong again. I feel like I was getting pretty strong last fall, and then we got COVID, and then it was hard to get back in the groove around winter, and then started back up in the spring and was starting to feel better again, and then my grandmother died, and it's just been like a slow climb back and feeling strong again. So that's good. So my friend Jamie came to Tulsa last night, and we did the COVID test and everything was fine. It was negative, and her and her little dog, and we had just a lovely time. She cleaned my kitchen for me. Nick went into the studio. I put Minerva down to sleep, and she cleaned the kitchen and made us dinner. It was very sweet. She's been traveling a lot during the entire pandemic, and we just, a lot to catch up on. And I've had a lot of loss, and I guess you don't know that. I've had a lot of loss recently. Anyway, it was a lovely evening, and we stayed up till 2 a.m. chatting. We woke up around 8:30. That was when Minerva started, wanting to get up. She is still asleep, and it's almost 1 p.m. But hey, she doesn't have a kid. She's been traveling, and rest is very important. So I'm just slightly envious. Anyway, I'm driving a little further out because I'm going to get an iced coffee at a place that I really like. And then I'll go home and take a shower and see what Jamie wants to do. I mean, Minerva's gonna take a nap in another hour, so I can't really go anywhere. Anyway, delivered the shepherd's pies, and I got a text from my friend saying that it was absolutely delicious and she had 2 helpings of it, so It's really good. It's really good. So the recipe is by Hot for Food, Lauren Toyota of Hot for Food. She has a lot of vegan, but it's all vegan. Her whole channel is vegan, and she has a few cookbooks. Yeah, so the recipe is actually on her website. It's not in a cookbook, and it's just the vegan shepherd's pie. And she says in there to use like a veggie ground round, and that's where I subbed the Impossible ground meat. It's so delicious. So delicious. And then I just followed, I mean, like I do my own mashed potatoes. I mean, mashed potatoes aren't hard. You just add to your liking salt, pepper, milk, and butter, which is what I did. And I added paprika and chives on top. Anyway, yeah, she texted, said she had 2 helpings, so yay. And that's an omnivore family. Yeah, and so after I dropped off the second shepherd's pie, I had to run over to the Episcopal church that I'm going to be subbing at and picked up the music for all of the things I'm doing. So there's like an evensong, and then the Bach concert, and then the Derufle, and so it's a lot of music, and we have to learn it before the first rehearsal. And the evensong music, thankfully I asked, I said, well, who am I subbing for? And both sopranos said, well, I'm going to be here on that day. And I was like, well, wait a minute. See, I'm a soprano. And in walks one of the altos. She goes, oh, you're subbing for me. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm doing alto? And I saw the director. I said, hey, I'm not going to say his name. I said, hey, am I doing soprano or alto for evensong? And he goes, oh, alto. I was like, oh, I'm really glad I asked. Which is fine. It's just it's not completely. It's a different thing, singing harmony, and especially because one of the pieces, and I think maybe 2 of the pieces, I know, and I know the soprano line in it. So that's kind of, it's totally doable. It's just a bit of like, patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. Trying not to like jump up to the part that you know. I have time, I'll learn it really well, and I'm really glad that I asked, because that would have been much more difficult if I had come unprepared, only knowing the soprano parts. It feels good to have some work in my hands and to start kind of hacking away at it. I'm happy tomorrow I get to take Minerva to her music class, which we haven't been able to do because for various reasons. They were putting in a new floor in the classroom, and there were like a lot of families. She kept having to switch us around, and one of the classes we could go to had like 5 other families, and it's a small space, and we just didn't feel as safe about that. So anyway, the teacher, wonderful, beautiful woman teaching this class, and Minerva just loves her. She texted and said, we're back on for Fridays, and there's just one other family that's going to come, so it'll just be 5 of us total, which we can spread out that way, and all the adults are masked, so that's way more comfortable, and Minerva's going to be so happy. I know she's really missed that class. I was just eating one of my daily olives, and I bit my lip. Look at this. I didn't break the skin, but it's like swollen. Speaking of pain, poor Minerva today hit her head really, really hard. Like really hard, and her whole forehead is raised, and it's like blue right here, and then this is like raised like that far off of her forehead. It was a total accident. Poor Nick feels horrible. He was lifting her up to go change her diaper, and he was like, oh, come on, and she was kind of fussing, so he was going to be like playful about it. So he lifted her up to kind of toss her. Not super high. He's actually afraid to toss her really high, but it was high enough, and he didn't really realize where he was standing. And he was standing at like the doorway to the living room. And that part of the wall is made of like red brick with like sheetrock over it. And it just was like this sound of her head just full force hitting that right there. It was awful, and I just scooped her up immediately. Poor Nick started to cry. He felt unbelievably bad, and I just rushed her in here into the kitchen. I set her on the counter so I could get a good look at it. It was already starting to swell up, and he was in here. He was trying to get ice and kept coming over to her, and she was screaming at him, like and terrified. And she still will not let us put ice on it. And the reason is because when she's had like scratches before, and we've tried to put like peroxide on it, now she's, you know, it hurts, and now she's very reticent to let us doctor anything that hurts. Poor thing has got this massive goose egg for her forehead, and I gave her some Tylenol, and we kept our eye on her. You know, she seems to be fine cognitively, like doesn't have any signs of concussion. But anyway, I gave her some Tylenol, and on top of it, she's cutting all of her canine teeth, and so she's just kind of in a world of pain. Poor thing.
Oh, that.
Falafel I've ever had. It's so moist and so full of flavor. Like I can't even identify what all the flavors are in it. It's like mint. Is there mint in there? What is it?
I just like was so hungry I just threw it in my mouth.
Good morning. It's Friday morning, which means we got to go to Minerva's music class. You know, it had been a few weeks since we had been, and she was a bit, I don't know, shy, maybe a little shy, a little out of sorts. And she's been at home for the most part for a while. Anyway, it was good though. She warmed up towards the end, was having a good time. Oh, poor thing. Her goose egg on her head is huge. I'll show you in a minute. And I'm keeping an eye on her, making sure her eyes aren't like dilated. You know, she doesn't seem really sleepy. She is a bit grumpy, but it's also time for her morning constitutional. So, poor thing, I think she's not feeling well, and I'm gonna go give her some Tylenol, which I was going to do before we left, and I just forgot. Anyway, we went to the bank after her music class, and music class. Then I thought we'd stop by Old Navy. So there's an Old Navy here. Anyway, I thought we'd stop by Old Navy because there's hardly anyone out right now. It's not even 11:30 yet, so I knew it would be pretty empty, and I could just pop her in the stroller and she'd be fine. So anyway, we go in there, and then she sees like the, like the end caps that have all like the lotions and stuff, and she was like, wanted that, and started just an incredible tantrum. She didn't want to get out, she didn't want to be in the stroller, she didn't want me to hold her, she didn't want to walk, it was just screaming, and she was having none of it. So we exited. I told her we'll go home and we'll take some Tylenol and we'll eat a cheese stick. I think she'll be much happier. She's happy now. Now she's back in the car, and I said what we're gonna do, so we're heading home. My friend Jamie left this morning. The dinner we had last night was wonderful. We went to this restaurant in downtown, and wow, it's called Laffa, L-A-F-F-A, and it's Israeli owned. Ooh, man, I mean, like, I've had a lot of like Middle Eastern Mediterranean food, which this is kind of a blend of that. That's what it says on their menu. Wow, it was impressive. It was very good. They had some good cocktails, and they had a Pim's cup, which I really like Pim's cups, so I had one. Anyway, I'm gonna head home, get her all settled. Got about an hour or so till lunch, so I think, I don't know, give her a Tylenol and cheese stick and see where we're at. Poor thing. So, been home for a little while. Got Minerva fed. She ate a lot. She must have been pretty hungry. And then we had a little FaceTime call with her granny. She was requesting her granny, which we see her. My parents go away for the weekend. They have a little weekend getaway. And so they're already there, and so we FaceTimed. Yeah, she ate all of her lunch, did really well with that, and was like rubbing her eyes, and I'd given her some Tylenol, and anyway, so I put her down for a nap just now, and I think she's probably not asleep just yet, but she will be soon. But hopefully she takes a nice fat nap. I think she'll feel good after she does that. I'm going to heat up this coffee. Oh, and I was gonna say, we're out of morning coffee. And I think that's because Jamie had some too, and then Nick had some. Anyway, so I've got some instant, which we bought at the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was making that, like, is it called Dalgona coffee? Which is really good. So we had some of this left over. Actually pretty good. So I just put a tablespoon in whatever coffee I had left with some soy milk. So it's kind of like a latte without the foam. I guess that's called something, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna heat that up, and I think I'm gonna go in the office and try to clean it up, or try to clear off the desk, maybe get some of this footage imported, maybe start editing. And I've got to learn so much music, so I may start on that. I just want to make the most of her nap time. I've got laundry to fold again, and I gotta pay some bills, edit video. I need to put up another Instagram account for side hustle. Yeah, so there's just some things to do. Nick went over to the shop, our rehearsal space. I said, yeah, go now, go do your thing now, so that you can spend a few hours there, and then you can come relieve me for dinner time, which, like I said, is the hardest stretch of the day. So by all means. He's trying to really get a Patreon account going right now. So he's like trying to make a lot of content. And I'll link him down below if you're interested. He's a jazz vibraphonist. So if you like jazz, if you like vibraphone, if you like mastery behind an instrument, he's fantastic. He's wonderful. He's one of the best musicians I've ever known. And I've been around quite a lot of musicians. Anyway, so if you feel inclined, I don't know, check out his Patreon, maybe. All right, let me get to it. Let's see how she's doing. I think she's asleep. Yay! She's asleep, Zig. Don't you sleep. So the rule in this house is that if you're the last person to get out of bed, then you're the one that has to make the bed. And this morning, that was Nick. And that bed ain't made. Usually it's me getting out of bed last. Like, usually he gets her up in the morning and gets the coffee going and lets me I like to read the news in the morning because I like to depress myself right away. I got out of bed first this morning because I had to take her. We switch off taking her to the music class, and he did it last time. So I took her this time. I was first one out of the house, and he just never got around to making the bed. So yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity now to strip the bed and wash the sheets and the duvet cover because it really needs it. Okay, so I got these sheets. I'm just gonna pop them in the washer real fast. My lips are so dry. Look at this. Just for my own sake, because I'm not seeing anyone else, although I am videoing right now. I'm gonna put a little of my lip stuff on. I'm doing this left-handed. This color is that, I think I've said before, is Spiced Ginger by Mary Kay. And I don't buy Mary Kay. I'm gifted Mary Kay by my mother. And then I love topping it with this Pacifica Color Quench lip tint. And this one is in blood orange. So, see the color here. Much better. So there we go. So I thought I'd just give it like a full-on clean, this desk, because there's like, of course there's cat hair everywhere and some dust. So I've got my, since it's September now, I feel justified in pulling out my leftover Mrs. Meyer's Acorn Spice surface spray. And this may be a bad idea because I want to light a candle in a minute, and the only one that I have that's like left to burn is grapefruit. So some Acorn Spice with grapefruit. It'll still be nice. Of things I need to do, I need to write out an actual to-do list. So I've got a notepad here, pen, and the first thing was I've got to remember to send this thing to a family friend. I know, so descript that I don't want to forget. So I'll write that in here. So the notebook I was just using is by Rifle Paper Company, and I bought a pack, I think in Anthropology a couple years ago, like in 2018, and I really loved it and used them all up, and then I bought another pack, and I don't know where I got this one from, but the quality is not as nice as the other ones I had. This one is like thinner, but it's fine. Like it's pretty and it's very functional. I can open it up fully and I don't have to like, you know, wrestle with it. This has gotten some water on it. They're just great little notebooks, and I've got a few of them in different colors. So I'm gonna finish up my red one. Anyway, so that's Rifle Paper Company. Love them.
No job is too big, no pup is too small.
Hey, Min. Can you look at Mama? Here, look here. Min, look. Hi. Yeah. Uh-huh. What'd you chew, honey?